everyone. It's the old fella back with you, old Mr. B. I finally got around to doing this. I did a chat, well, not more of a chat with Pete and D. Very interesting. We talk about various different things and what we do and all the rest of it, and such as Band-Maid and things like that, all sorts of stuff like that. So I thought, right, well, I finally got around to doing it. I mean, I did this. I did this before I actually did the bit where the maid outfit. But anyway, without anyway, I won't go TikTok or anything. But let's get on with the chat. Here we go. Right. Well, I won't say hello here because I have Pete indeed with me. Sounds like a bit of B. That sounds like a bit of a rap. Yeah, Pete indeed. Yeah.
No, but, not on my planet. No rap.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Same here. But we're just gonna have a general chat about things on YouTube and the interweb, if you like.
Or things missing from YouTube and maybe the interweb, right? Part of the my channel.
But yeah, so I mean, it's like well, what's coming up? Well, I think everyone knows what's coming up with me because it'll probably be up before this. The maid outfit.
Dying to see it, just dying to see it.
Oh, by the way, if anybody hasn't watched it, if you want a picture of me in it, it's $1.99.
There you go.
I said that when I did it on the, if you want a picture, it's $1.99. But yeah, I mean, with me, I mean, when did you start your channel putting your stuff up?
That's an interesting and good question. The channel started actually back in September of this year, but what ended up happening was they advertised Kate, the movie, and I understood that this was probably going to attract a fairly large audience, I guess, if you will, or gather in a lot of new fans. So as we started to chat and we started to comment in some of these YouTube promos, what I wanted to do was go out and recommend songs to people, paste links in there so that they could find some of the old material. So I go out on YouTube to find some of the old material and it ain't there. There's none of this is out there, right? So It's so sad that the girls created all of this art, for lack of a better way to describe it, and no one can find it. I mean, unless you're specifically looking for it with maybe an album or a song title, it's just not there. None of these new fans are going to be able to find that. So that was really part of the inspiration of the channel for me. However, I'm gonna conjure a name here, and it might shock him if he watches this. But really, my inspiration to start the channel was Vladimir Chupin. So he and I, and you even had some involvement in it because I was looking for a person, an old YouTuber named Zero. And I asked you about it in one of your videos. And you said, that's a good question. I don't know whatever happened to them. The reason I was looking for them is because I had two videos on my hard drive that I downloaded. I forget even from where, but they were slideshows. And I said, I want to find this person. I don't want to distribute what they had, right, without asking permission. So I asked you about it. You didn't know where anything was. I shared them with Vladimir, and he said the sound is really quite compressed on those. I said, yeah, but at the same time, I'd love to have people hear these old songs. He says, well, maybe I can fix it. And, we talked a little bit about the Adobe program that he used and blah, blah, blah. I said, well, give me some time to take a look at it. And after I did, I'm wondering, I used some of my really crude software, and I said, can I lay the slideshow over some new audio, right? And I started to play around with a few different things. And I said, well, why don't I just make my own slideshow? I've got a folder here of about 2,000 Band-Maid pictures that go back to, probably before the band started in terms of some of the stuff I've collected, but at least in terms of some of the stuff that I had on my drive, I had gotten back in 2015, 2016 when the band was really just starting out. So it was at that point that I began to create my own video collages and put them up. So from my point of view, the whole point of the thing was just to get music out there to people that had no way to be exposed to it. And that was how the channel started back in September. It was really inspired by new fans coming on board, trying to find music by the band, and just sharing with them where the band came from. I mean, today's Band-Maid sound is nothing like old Band-Maid, right? They've progressed, they've grown. That's what you expect a band to do.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, it's really cool to see some of the stuff, some of the older stuff that put Band-Maid on the map and brought them to where they are, because it's like anything, without history, it's just a work of art. But if you have some knowledge of the backstory and know where they came from and what inspired that, it's much more interesting.
Yeah, well, I've got history, but I'm not a work of art.
Well, you're prettier than I am. You can see and hear now why I'm not a reactor.
Me, pretty shocking. I get a fright every morning when I look in the mirror. I know you'll see with my reaction. Yeah, this is it. This is, I mean, with me as well, starting. I was watching reactors and I was watching different reactors and obviously I did know about Band-Maid, but what annoyed me, if you like, in a way, was how false some of them were.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I've watched them and they've never disliked anything.
Yeah.
You know, they're jumping up and down. And I thought, well, you know, why is somebody just being honest? So I went on and just being honest. I'll give you a for instance, right? Love Bites. I did a reaction to them and I wasn't very nice to them. My very first reaction. And then somebody posted later on when I was saying how good they were, said, I was waiting for that. Or waiting for you to change. He says, because the one you'd got was a bad recording and whatever as well.
Okay.
So, you know.
That happens.
Yeah. And so, but that was the only time. Because I don't know, there was things wrong, but there again, you see, it's like with Band-Maid. I saw Thrill, and I thought, oh, and from that, I just started looking for more.
Yep.
Because, you know, I'd seen comments where he's not really playing the instruments, and obviously I play, right? And I thought, well, that's interesting.
You can't fake anything that well.
Yeah, I thought that's interesting that as the notes are being played, the fingers are in the right place. So I went on and checked, and obviously that was it. No looking back.
So there you
and
go.
I became a Maniac. And that the word Maniac all started from what's it? BM for Life.
Yeah.
Right. He suggested that to me, and then that was it. I did the T-shirt.
You got a channel out on YouTube somewhere as well, I think.
Yeah, it's just took off. It's just took off. And I was thinking of doing obviously a T-shirt, but with it saying it in Japanese.
You could do that. Yeah, like I say, you've said it a couple of times in different reactions. It's Band-Maid isn't just a band, right? It's a community. I mean, to me, this journey has been amazing and very interesting because you get to run into people I like to call celebrities or Band-Maid royalty, right? There's you, there's Vladimir, there's Axe Japan, there's Wave Potter, who I've chatted with, there's Gary Holloway. How would you ever get to meet a great guy like Gary Holloway if not for Band-Maid?
Well, they are, well, behind my head, the cards are his artwork.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's contributed a lot to my channel as well. So from that perspective, I chatted with Axe Japan before I did his video. There's just a bunch of great people that are involved and behind this band. And I think part of the reason is because the band is very personal. They expose themselves to more of an insight to their actual lives than any band I've ever followed. I mean, from my perspective, how would you know? Because I stick a lot of photos in my videos in terms of the personal stuff that the girls go through. I mean, you can see them perform and with their instruments, and that's great. But some of my favorite photos come from their real life, right? How would you know that Psyche likes trains or or baseball, right? Or Konami loves sweets, right? We had that one shot of her saying cake for her birthday, which I thought was hilarious. Gary loved it too. Misa drinks, but you know, her parents were also hippies. So unless you look at some of those pictures, you don't get that backstory, right? With Akane, she likes anime, but you wouldn't also guess that she likes Peanuts, which is a very old cartoon, right? Like
Yeah,
ancient.
yeah. I know
Very-
Peanuts. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Miku, between her pigeon and her cat and everything else, I mean, those are the kinds of insights that you don't typically get into people that are famous.
Horse racing.
Huh?
She likes horse racing.
Yeah, that's true. She does. I know that as well. And she's actually dragged Psyche along with her so Psyche can bet. So those are the types of things that I like to try to share in my videos, and hopefully new viewers or new fans catch on to, because again, it's an insight to a band that you don't typically get with other bands. And I think that's really neat. And a lot of the Japanese girl groups, I guess, are follow a similar train of thought, right? You can get into their personal lives, and they're willing to show, you know, some of the things they do on the side. They're cooking in the kitchen, they're playing with their pets, whatever it is. And that typically doesn't happen, right? With especially with American bands here where I am. So from that point of view, that's one of the things that attracted me to the band, along with their music.
Yeah, because I mean that like you say, that's how they are. But you see here, you don't see any of that. It's a pity, really. And the other big thing about them is, as well, there's no ego.
Yeah.
They are a group. They work together. There's no egos whatsoever, and I don't think there's any bands like that have got egos. Well, male bands, yeah, probably, but there's none of that with them. I mean, how they work together. I mean, as you know, thanks to Miku putting the band together.
Yeah.
And then wanting to learn the guitar, Konami steps in, teaches the guitar. Look how she is now. Look how she's playing now. She's really moved on. And
I did a reaction to my Arcadia Girl video this morning, and I pulled it up and looked at it. And one of the things he noted was, hey, Miku is singing in this song, and it's an early song off of New Beginning. And I explained to him, I says, you know, back in the day, Miku didn't have a lot of contribution to the music, right? She didn't know guitar at that point. So her vocal roles back then, Made in Japan, New Beginning, were much larger, right? Her and Psyche would share in terms of vocal roles. And he was really surprised by that. But that's one of the things that's evolved about the band. And you're absolutely right. To me, Miku actually contributes a lot of music at this point, not only with her guitar, but with her backing vocals. It's fun to listen to her do a bunch of different things with Psyche. And one of the things I noted a long time ago was she doesn't sing harmonies for the most part. She sings the same thing Psyche does, but in a higher octave. So that's one of the things that makes the sound of Band-Maid, to me, unique.
Yeah. It's like, but what made me, because, you know, a lot of these Japanese ladies, they always have what they call a captain or wherever, you know, who's in charge. And she gave that role to Akane.
Yes.
This is what I mean about there's no rivalry as such or anything like that. They just work together. Oh, she's the oldest. She can, you know, and she hasn't got a problem because she's always on time and everything else and organising. So it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, okay, everyone sort of says things about Misa drinking, and I saw an interview with her where he said about, she said, I did it once. She had a bit too many on stage. She says, that was it. She says, no. She says, I like to know where I am, just to relax me, which is interesting. But again, they openly talk about things. You know, you can probably ask anything you like. They're not going to hide anything. And what I like about it, they're themselves all the time.
They are.
Classic. The one I reacted to where Psyche stopped him from doing the next number just to check somebody was all right in the audience. I think he got upset because the song before was Endless Stories, one of them, you know, when it got to him. But she just stopped, and, you know, to me, that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing to see that. Then, of course, you get the bit where Miku decides she's going to go into the audience. And what respect they paid her.
Yeah.
And I mean, you didn't have to understand Japanese to know what she was on about, how tall everybody is compared to her.
I don't speak a word of it, and she makes me laugh all the time.
Yeah. She walks in there, and it was, if you like, I will quote from the Bible, it was like Moses parting the water. Yeah. And what I liked about it is they got so much respect for her, so much respect, because it for anybody, if I've seen other people walk into a crowd, they've got like security with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shinedown, Brent.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember his name because my brother's name's Brent. He did it, because I'm a big Shinedown fan, by the way. I really do like them. I've seen them live a few times. But yeah, but there again, he's got security with him, and people are all trying to touch, Yet when Mika goes in, everybody's so well behaved and absolutely fantastic. And for her to be able to do that, you got to have some balls to do that. Excuse my language.
Yeah,
but
you do.
And she obviously felt safe with the crowd. I mean, there's a lot of people there, and it was just great. But that's because that's the sort of person she is, and because everybody has become to know Band-Maid as they are, they have so much respect for them,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. You see, right? Okay, female band. Let's say an English female band, right? What do you think is going to be? What do you think they're going to be shouting in the audience?
That's a tough question. I think back to the Go-Go's, right? Who were big in the States here. If you're going to talk about a female English band, I'm assuming you mean American, but yeah, I mean, a band like that would never dream of going out into the audience like that. And I think Egos broke that band up. Male bands are even worse here, right? So that leads to a lot of band breakups, which is part of the reason it's so fun to watch the interaction between the maids, right? So from my point of view, like I say, that's always added to my experience, I guess, if you will, with them. Just being able to show them in that light via pictures and photos has always been fun for me, right? I'll always throw some serious shots in my collages, but I'll always try to throw some fun shots in there as well, just because that's how I know them. And you just don't get that kind of insight with other bands, and it's a lot of fun. It's fun for new viewers as well to see stuff like that. So a lot of that gets lost in the official YouTube videos for Band-Maid. You don't get that sense. At least I don't, right? I mean, they're great performers. Their music is wonderful, but in terms of that personal interaction with them, you don't get to see that as much in the polished commercial stuff that they put out.
Yeah, well, I mean, some of the stuff you put up, some of the pictures are great. Nobody's seen them. Absolutely fantastic. They are. Here's another thing. I did a reaction, if you like, to like Konami, and she filmed herself on Instagram, whatever, playing the guitar and that. It's all got blocked. And I'm thinking, what right have they got to block what she's put up?
Yeah. Well, the other thing that got me, Vladimir got some stuff, Chupin got some stuff that was blocked from his fan cam. That it baffles me. It really does. Some of this copyright stuff is just really confusing to me. And I think it's got a lot to do with the number of labels that the band has been with, unfortunately, because people are making money off of, and that's what it comes down to, right? Follow the money.
Yeah.
People are making money off of videos and other, visual and audio items that the current label doesn't necessarily appreciate, right? They want to see what they have sell. So I think there's some jealousy in there. I think there's some emotion. I think the fact that Band-Maid is getting larger at this point, bigger, more famous, and hopefully after COVID that will exponentially multiply. But I think that's part of the reason is they're looking down the road saying, hey, this is going to be a big deal someday, or we're going to try to make it a big deal, and we don't want other people horning into our bank account. So I mean, if that's the case, that's fine, but that's not why I'm here. I know that's why you're not. That's not why you're here either, right? It's to promote music. It's to promote something that we've grown to love. So from my perspective, again, it's just a matter of I don't do any of this for money. My channel is not monetized. I have merchandise that I have that's out on my channel. I don't even know where the money is, right? I don't make a penny off of any of it, and it goes to war veterans from whatever country you happen to be purchasing my merchandise from. So from that perspective, yeah, money is not an interest to me. I don't ask people to like and subscribe. If you want to like, that's great. If you want to subscribe, that's fine too, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here to share music with everybody and make them aware of where the band came from and why everybody loves them so much.
Yeah.
So from my point of view, I had somebody ask me, it was funny. I think it was this week in one of my comment sections about how I make my videos. And it's funny because the first one I did was Be Okay, and off of Made in Japan. And it was just kind of random, right? I threw a bunch of photos I had in there. They were good photos, some of my better photos actually. And just put it to music. I wasn't concerned about how it was cut up, or, you know, I didn't want to stay on one photo for too long, but I kind of did it by the seat of my pants. And it was just an experiment. Let me see if I can put this up on YouTube. So I went ahead and did that. But at the same time, this person had asked me, you know, do you use, what was it? PowerPoint and Winamp. And I said, no, I use Maids in Music. I don't think he was really overjoyed with the answer, but at the same time, my methodology is very crude. I'm not a techie, right, at all. So what I do is what I use is actually Windows Movie Maker, which is a very, very old, crude piece of software. But it works for what I do. I had somebody, a friend of mine, you know, Zagor, he suggested that, hey, it's easier to use this piece of software, which he suggested to me and gave me a link. And he says, you know, try this for your videos. And I'm like, this is way too complicated. Because the way Windows Movie Maker works is you can upload audio to it and it won't play you a note until you start to add pictures. So what I do is I'll listen to the song a couple of times, right? Just the audio. I'll go into my folder and I'll find a picture that exemplifies that song. I'll put that picture in there. I'll extend it out so I can hear all the audio, and I'll listen to it that way. And then I'll go into my folder. I'll take a bunch of different pictures that I think relate to this song, and I just basically I throw them on the floor, right? I add them to the video, and that's it. Then I begin to arrange them. I do the cuts, right? And Windows Movie Maker will allow you to cut in the smallest amounts if you want. I can time things down to the 100th of a second if I want to. But what I've noticed is that from Be Okay to the latest video I released, there's kind of a bit of an evolution. And I kind of have my own style, I guess, and I never really realized that.
Yeah.
But part of that is the software that I use. So to change software at this point would kind of be catastrophic to me. And in terms of the creative way that I do this, it really contributes to the end product. So I'm happy with it. It's simple, it's crude. It probably takes me 10 times as long as it would take anybody else, but I like it and it produces results that I want.
Yeah, we see it's like with my thumbnails, if you like. I have my own style.
I love them.
which develop.
He helps me too.
But you see, what I don't do is I don't do, you know, a lot of them use Canva and they repeat the same thing and just change the name. I don't do that. I try to be a bit more creative. It's the same as here, my backdrop. You see, there's even the shadow behind me against the wall. Yeah, trying to add a bit of realism to it, whatever. But yeah, I mean, somebody obviously recommended Da Vinci's to you. I bet it was Da Vinci. That's what I use, right? And it's
I forget what it was actually. And like I say, I downloaded it. I opened it once and I went, this is not going to work.
It's right. It's free, right? Yeah, it's powerful. It is very, very powerful. You know, I mean, obviously I had to learn how to do things, different things in it. And I mean, there's still loads more I can learn. It's like with anything. He said, you know, that when I did that, pretend that I'm making a movie, the trailer, that was on my Mac.
Hilarious.
That was on my Mac, right?
Okay.
It's got a thing there called Trailer Mate. I said, oh, let's just have a mess up. I just threw everything in, right? Yeah. But I couldn't have done it better the way it come out with me going like, you know, things like that at a certain time. I thought, well, that was just sheer luck. I thought it was funny, so I thought I'm going to put this up.
Yeah, so to me, like I say, you don't want what you do to be a product purely of your software, right? You have to be able to put some personality, some personal spin on it. To me, like I say, in terms of a lot of the timing, the pictures that I choose, sometimes I'll go in and crop them. Sometimes I'll go in and add, you know, a couple of words here and there just to add some humor to the video. But for the most part, it's strictly the photos that I have. And I don't want my software to influence what the product is. I want to be the influence in what the product is. And that's what my methodology allows me to do, just like you said, right? You can go in and press a button on some of these stuff and it does everything for you. And that's great. Maybe some people like that. Maybe some people need that. For me, from a technical perspective, I don't have a lot of technical expertise. So that might be a good thing for me. But it just because of the way that things evolve and what I've done, at least in the past with some of these videos, I think my personal touch shows through on them. I hope it does. So from that perspective, that's why I like what I do and how I do it, and I wouldn't change it.
Yeah,
So,
it's the same like when I did this, the one with the stunt lady in Caesar. Right
yeah,
now, I don't. Oh, I thought, you know, I don't know how many videos I put together and put bits in, chop bits out. But
Yep.
at least he got the end bit right, where he swung around and gets the kick dead on time at the end. You know, I thought, well, I'm happy with that, because at one point I'd got it lined up, but then I realised I put something in twice. I didn't want that, you know,
Yeah.
and so I'm messing about.
I've only done that about 1,000,000 times.
But but it was something I thought, I want to do this. I don't know, you know, I don't normally do that sort of thing, but I thought, well, you know, let me, you know, sort of do it. I mean, all I do now is we like anything now, because I did the intro. That's down. The reason I did the intro was I got inspired, if you like, by Axe and Wave. I thought, I've got to do something. Unfortunately, I couldn't find my right camera, so my head's chopped off.
Hey, as long as you found your guitars, it's good.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of them to find. Yeah, got enough of them. But the thing was, and I mean, like, it's like when I put that together, it was purely I'm not a bass guitarist, but I was playing the bass and I thought, oh, and then the rest just followed on. That was how it happened. It was it just happened. And I thought, right, okay, now I've got to film myself playing it and do. And then I thought, no, got to have a green screen. I've got to have a backdrop. I've got the moving stars, and I just did it like that. You see, it's just how I am. Same as I get moving things on my channel.
Mm-hmm.
Can't help it. I have to do it. It's I have to be different. Did you see the one where I was on about a raft?
Yeah.
Right. And then there's that time I wasn't there, and you could hear "I Am Sailing" by Rod Stewart playing. I come on, I can't help it. I just have to do something different.
Well, I think your creative process and my creative process are really similar in that way, right? Like, you started with the bass because that's your comfort zone, right? And you went, okay, well, here's what I think I'm going to do. And then you built around it. It's the same as me taking a single photo and an audio track, right? And building up everything around that. And that picture might end up in the middle of the video. It doesn't matter. It's typically the one I use for my thumbnail as well.
Yeah.
But you do the same thing, right? You take something you feel strongly about, and you do it, and then you build up stuff around it, and that's part of the creative process.
I'm not normally a bass player. See, the way I do music, I'll probably have a single drum beat, right? Because I was messing to see how fast I could play.
Okay.
About 150 is my maximum, because I can't, you know, old age sets in. But and that's how I do it. And but from that, I mean, a lot of the time I haven't got one here. This is unusual. There's usually a guitar next to me. So sometimes when I'm uploading and whatever, I've plugged a guitar and I'm playing the guitar. And then you're thinking, oh, right. And then so what I do is, so I don't forget it, I'll go and record it. Because I've got all sorts of recording equipment for music. You know, and that, but that's just what I do. But you know, I don't rate myself. I don't call myself a musician. I just play the guitar. You know, I mean, you know.
Well, there's a pretty fine line there. I think most people would probably consider you a musician. Like I say, it's like Wave, right? Wave does a lot of different things, and it's amazing to me. He's got no sense of reluctance to put trial and error on video, right? And to me, that's the most impressive thing. He'll pick up his guitar and start playing. It's completely wrong. He doesn't care. He'll find the right way to play it. And to me, that's part of the entertainment, right? Is watching people expose themselves, I guess, if you will.
Yeah, because so many people, you see them and it's got it so perfect. You know, they've got it so perfect, and you're thinking, well, you know, they're just trying to make themselves look good. Yeah, how many times did it take you to do it? you get somewhere that's making mistakes and doing. I've got a funny one to put up soon as well by that somebody's done themselves.
Mhm.
And I'll react to that. But I've just been so busy. It's trying to fit everything in. Because the other week I actually did 11 reactions in the day.
Wow.
And I thought, okay, that's done. That gives me a few days break. That's the way I see it.
Mhm.
Whack them all out and that. The thing is, though, I'll sit here, I'll do one after another, thinking I'll have a coffee, then do another one, then do another one, then do another one. And in the end, I thought, I've done 11 today.
Yeah.
And
Same thing happens to me where I'll make a video. I've got a schedule that I've printed out or that I've made up, right, in terms of all the lesser known Band-Maid songs that I want to do, dates I'm going to try to publish them, this and that. So I'm not just pulling stuff out of my you know what. So at the end of the day, a lot of times what ends up happening is I work about 4 to 6 weeks ahead, right? Just because if I feel pressure, my video isn't going to turn out the way I want it to. I already know that about myself, right? So at the same time, what I want to do is do them at my leisure. So I've worked 4 to 6 weeks in advance. Okay, I can take a break. No, it doesn't work that way, right? You're compelled to go in and start another video or open some additional music or go look for some additional photos or whatever it is, right? You're drawn to that creative process to the point where you think, good, I can take a break, but you can't because it's your own mental. I got to go do that. There's something out there that I haven't done that I can go do now. So I think you and I suffer from the same thing.
Well, there you go. Nice guy, isn't he? And we're all interested in the same thing. We're all maniacs at the end of the day. Interesting conversation that, and I like to do chats if you like as well with other reaction people that do reactions, whatever, or the channel, shall I say. It's nice to know. It's nice to get to know them and everything else. So this is why I'm doing this, to get to know. Yeah, it's a community at the end of the day. We are a community, and that's how it is. But yeah, great. Anyway, enough of me rabbiting on. You saw it for yourselves. How we're just chatting about different things and all the rest of it. So anyway, I'd like to say thank you so much for all your comments, all your support, and everything else. Thank you. And of course, please stay safe. And this old fella will be back. Bye for now.